Packing for a cruise is not like packing for your typical vacation. There are rules, there are prohibited items, and there's so many people on the internet trying to get you to bring everything in the kitchen sink. But we're going to literally unpack all of it right now. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm your unofficial Disney Cruise Line mom. I have 4 kids. We've been on over 100 days sailing with Disney Cruise Line, and we're going to get right into packing and unpacking all the things you need to know when you go on a cruise. First, the rooms are small, and no one's going to tell you that they are real small, but they are real small. And you need to know this before you pack so that you know you do not need to bring everything with you because you're already going to be in a tight space. Now, the good news is, at least on Disney Cruise Line, the beds are higher up, so your luggage will fit underneath the beds. So just something to know. Also, if you are flying in, there are a lot of rules about checked luggage and paying for luggage, and they're nickel and diming you out the wazoo with the airlines. So I tend to pack on the more minimalistic side, and so that's going to be the guide throughout this video. Okay, number 2, there are tons of prohibited items on a cruise. Now, this can range from like things that are common sense, like you can't bring, things that you shouldn't be bringing anyway, but there are also things like power strips. So you need to check through the guidelines of the cruise line that you are sailing with, and we'll kind of talk about Disney, but if you're not sailing with Disney, you should check into some of the cruise lines that you're sailing with to make sure that you don't bring something that you're not allowed to bring. Instead of just reading through the website and going through every single item you cannot bring, we're just gonna go through the highlights. And so if you wanna see the whole thing, I've linked it below and you can see the full list of everything you're not allowed to bring on a Disney cruise. So the highlights include, you cannot bring sporting equipment, so no lacrosse sticks, no pickleball paddles, no tennis rackets, nothing like that, unless you're bringing golf clubs or if you're bringing balls that you want to take off the ship for excursions. You are not allowed to use them on the ship. They have to be stored in the stateroom. Second, you are not allowed to bring power strips. So the alternative is to bring a charging block like this. This is one of my favorites. I'll link it below, and it allows you to bring, you can hook up all these USBs or USB-Cs, and that's how you can charge your devices without a power strip. There are quite a few appliances you're not allowed to bring, so you'll just need to look into that below, but most of them are like kitchen things that you shouldn't be bringing anyway, like, a rice cooker or coffee maker, but some of the more nuanced ones you're just gonna have to look into about the rules and regulations around like your hair dryer and hair products. You're not allowed to bring things like a bottle warmer, but you can get those baby items through guest services. So I just check out the link below to see all of the details on those things. On the food and drink front, you cannot bring like opened food or any kind of food that's been in an open container or homemade. It needs to be packaged, sealed, pre-packaged, and unopened if you want to bring it on the ship. And with drink, you cannot bring any kind of spirit or alcohol that is not beer or wine, and you are limited to the amount that you can bring on the ship. Now, if you want the details of those things, again, check out the website below. Those are the highlights of what not to bring. But if you do bring certain items, they will be inspected by the engineers for Disney. This is probably for other cruise lines as well. So just take note, if you're bringing a sound machine, if you're bringing a portable fan, if you're bringing a baby monitor, those things will be inspected upon your arrival and your luggage will be gone through. So just something to take note. Now, if you do happen to bring something that you're not allowed to bring, they will take it from you and they will keep it until you get back. I guess unless it's illegal, and then you've got other problems on your hands, right? Okay, next, people on the internet want you to buy everything, and they have like a list of things that say they're essential cruise items, and we need to do some debunking there because you really don't need to bring everything in the kitchen sink. So things that people say that you need that you actually don't. You do not need a portable fan. There is AC in the room. And if you want like a white noise sound that comes from a fan, you can do that on your phone or bring a white noise machine instead, like a little tiny one, but you don't need a portable fan. You also don't need a hamper. This one blows my mind. I don't know why people are telling you need to pack your own hamper. There are laundry bags in the room, at least on Disney, and you can use those if you want to. There is no like charge to use them. It's just if you were to take them, then they'll charge you. People also say you need towel clips or towels. No. You don't need towel clips. You don't need towels. The cruise provides all of those things. On the pool deck, there are towels waiting for you. And then if you get off on it for an excursion that requires some sort of towel, there are towels waiting for you when you leave the ship that you can grab on your way out to use. So you do not need to bring towels. And if you need to bring towel clips, like, no. Like, don't be that person that's reserving seats when you're not going to be sitting in it. Don't do that. Next, I saw in a bunch of videos a nightlight. Why do you need a nightlight? Everybody's got one of these. It's a phone. You can put a flashlight on if you need that in the night. But other than that, like, you don't need a nightlight. You just don't. People say you need to bring games or toys. You don't need to bring any games or toys unless you have a 2-year-old who you need to contain while you are getting ready in the morning. In that case, I say bring like 1 or 2 things for them to keep them occupied, or like an 18-month-old. But other than that, like, the whole ship is a toy. So go have fun. There's games to play on the ship. The goal is for you not to be in your room all the time on a cruise, because that's why it's small. It's small because there's so much to see and do on the ship. Go see and do all the things on the ship. You're going to have a blast, I promise you. Oh, some people are saying you need to bring hand soap. You do not need to bring hand soap. I promise you, Disney has that covered. They have the pump soap. They have bar soap. They have lots of different soaps. You're going to be just fine. You don't need to bring hand soap. I do think you should bring hand sanitizer for like when you're off the ship, like on excursions or in places where you might have to use public restrooms, and that can be iffy if there's soap there. But hand soap, no, you don't need to do that. So that about covers all the things that people tell you have to bring that you really don't. But let's go into the things you might regret if you don't bring. Number 1, and this is the absolute most important, you need to bring cash with you on the ship. Now, I know, like, you're thinking, like, but why? Like, I don't bring cash anywhere with me. I don't either. I don't carry cash. I don't have cash. I don't have cash lying around. Sorry if that offends anyone that does have cash lying around, but I don't. And this is a generational thing, but millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, we got to bring cash with us because there are few times when tipping is kind of like expected and there's no other way to tip. So this could be like the porters when you drop off your luggage, when you are, getting to the ship. This is when you have a bus driver or a tour guide after, like during an excursion. Things like that. You need to have some cash on you. So bring cash. This could just be like $150 to $200, but you still need to bring it. I will be doing a video all about tipping and cash, so subscribe now if you want to see that, because it's coming soon. Other things you will regret if you don't bring: sunscreen. Like, y'all, I have only gotten burned as bad as I've ever gotten burned in the Bahamas. Bring your sunscreen. And you think like you're going to go on an Alaska cruise and you don't need a sunscreen. You need sunscreen there too. Bring sunscreen. Second, another strange thing you might regret if you don't bring is a portable charger. See, now that all of the itineraries and like the activities on the ship are done on the phone, you actually have to bring your phone everywhere. I used to love that I could turn my phone off and pretty much leave it in the room. But now like phones are kind of like, you just need them for everything, which is a little bit of a bummer, but you're probably going to want a portable charger if you are, go all day, especially if you're out in the ports. I have a whole packing list if you want to check it out, linked in the description below, and I'll pin it as the top comment. If you want to see like my full packing list for a cruise, it's pretty minimal, but it has everything you actually need on there. Now, for adults, if you are doing any kind of adult dining, you will regret if you're a man, if you do not bring a pair of pants or like closed-toed shoes, like proper shoes for a fine dining experience. They are not super strict, but the pants thing is an absolute must if you're a male, and you should dress appropriately for the occasion. Other than that, like, there's really nothing like you have to bring. Now, what happens if you forget something? Now, on a 3 or 4 night or even 5-night cruise, you will be fine. Like, if you forget something, it's no big deal. But if you're on like a 14-day sailing, like across the Atlantic, and you do not bring clothes, like appropriate attire, or you forget something important, you could be up the creek without a paddle, because the cruise is in the middle of the ocean and they do not have everything in stock. If you're an adult, they typically have your basic necessities on board. But for children, we found that they did not have pants for children on the ship, which makes sense because it was probably the coldest weather of the season. And there's just a lot of things. Socks they didn't have for boys. There's just a lot of like random things that you may not find on a ship. So if you forget something, get it in port on your first port day, or Yeah, I don't know what to tell you because you're on a ship. So if you forget it, oh well. So that about covers everything no one's going to tell you about packing for a Disney cruise. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, and stay around because coming up next in this series is all about Embarkation Day. And if you missed it, there is a whole series all about Disney Cruise Line 101 where you can learn everything you need to know about Disney Cruise. Okay, you guys, we'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.